all the speed, power, and toughness in the world is not going to help you if the ops knows what you're going to do beforehand. Think about it. I mean, we don't have fangs. We don't have claws. We don't have flight. We can't breathe underwater. Yet we are the apex predator of Earth, right? With tools and a great plan, not even a tiger can beat us. How? The mind. Knowing what someone does and what someone thinks, their plan, what they value, and particularly their habits, that is the frame of building a strategy. So this is combat psychology. I'm Coach Wu. If you don't know me by now, I'm a pro fighter and coach here in Thailand, and welcome to the Mind Game. So we've already talked about conditioning and defense in the previous video. The next step is observation, absorbing raw data, right? That's going to accumulate this database of situations that repeat in boxing, and there's only so many types of punches you can throw. So from here, your decision-making becomes crucial. When you see certain behaviors, you can start predicting the next move accurately. When you build a psych profile on them, it becomes easy to predict them. By watching a lot of fights, you kind of already get on the right path, but there's one big issue on this. What you see and what I see are two different things. Here's a prime example. Crawford versus Khan. Most people saw the first 30 seconds of the fight, and they just saw Khan attacking Crawford with 3 punches. I saw hand feints. I saw gallop. I saw shell guard. I saw foot feint. I saw high guard. And then I saw disengagement once he teased the offense out of Khan. Other people don't have this appraisal skill to see this because they haven't organized the information. So that brings us kind of our first step, which is organize the information so you can process it, assess it, and observe. Now, what are you looking at? In my How to Film Study video, I also created the 4 categories, which is jabs, offense, defense, and disengagements. These are the most base form of all the behaviors in competition. And I came out with this to help us process it. So it takes a ton of study to get into the deeper layers of it, respectively, like all 4 categories. But today we're going to talk a little bit about jabs and jabbing behaviors. Because even with just basic understanding of the behavior, not the punch, the behavior, we start to crystallize in our understanding. So in my system, there's 12 jabs. Arguably, there's more. I call the teep in Muay Thai the 13th jab, right? Everything I listed from Crawford earlier was a jab. When you dissect the purpose of a jab, you can define it as a question. It isn't just a jab. It's a probe to test reactions, an asking hand that demands data, whether the opponent attacks or not. Like doing nothing is still a behavior. Letting someone jab to draw out their offense or find a better position, that's completely different from ignoring a jab because you find it inconsequential. Moorer ignored Foreman's consistent jab in the Foreman match, and look at where it got him. Knocked out. He helped Foreman break the record for the oldest world champion at that time because he ignored the jab. Everything happens for a reason. So the second rule of observation is to assume everything is connected. People find what they're looking for. You got to remember that. Negative people, they always, they can always find the downside from possible outcomes. And positive people, they find the bright side in bleak situations. That's good. But now we want to look for the connections, the causation, to find the ones that repeat. And that creates patterns. I mean, example is right there. Okay? If you ignore jabs, you walk into knockdowns. Now, the third rule of observation is perspective. Perspective will have you second-guessing plenty of seemingly good options just because of certain objectivity that you consider. One thing I see a lot of in fighting is this low, hunched-over stance, right? Tall and short people align. They gravitate to this for one reason or another. Some people are comfortable doing it. Some are consciously emulating Mike Tyson with the peekaboo. But when I spar with them, I look at them and I tilt my head. I ask them, why are you bowing to me? Right? I must be your king. I'm the leader of this fight. People look at me like I'm crazy and they get mad and they're like, I'm not bowing to you. And I'm like, well, you kind of are. Okay? Because you put your head down, right? Your position is low. Your vision is limited. You're giving me control of the air, which is your offense. You're telegraphing your footwork. You asked me to be the king, giving me control. If you'd like to challenge me, stand up. Otherwise, stay low to the ground and slither like a snake. Then they think the gears start turning. And they're like, why is he catching my jab? Why is he always done? And then the objective truth starts to set in on their position. And that strategy must be built before delving into stylistic variation. You have to consider the actual consequences. Whether a choice is conscious or not does not make it less of a choice. My mentor Kaizen Master taught me that while playing a game of Street Fighter, actually. In Street Fighter, when you crouch, you can't walk, you can't move around, you can't control the range. It's a defensive pose. It allows me to dictate the range because I get to walk around. It also makes your hitbox fatter, like you get bigger, so I can reach you more easily. You're bowing to the king. Perspective be damned, your low position is just objectively inferior. Unless you strategically turn it into advantage, that's a different thing. But once you learn this, then you start playing chess. Now, speaking of chess, that actually is the next step. Simulation. That's in our next video. We're going to do the next video on simulation gamification. Now, for more on combat psychology and technical lessons, you can go to my school, school.com/WuGongBoxing, where I do live lessons and things like that. For boxing challenges and training, you go nos.io/WugongTraining. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and learned something today, and happy training.